Welcome to Marquee Backstage All Access. I'm your host, Julie Milam. Because of the tremendous success of our television broadcasts, we're thrilled to bring you the Marquee Backstage podcast. Here we go more in depth into the lives and stories of our guests. We'll share exclusive content you didn't get to see on TV, plus you'll have full access to the 5 songs played by our featured artist, which were all recorded at Thunder Sound Studios. This week, enjoy the music and life stories of Emily Otteson. To get us started with Emily, here's You and I.
I get up and mess around with the coffee grounds, don't have a plan yet. I try to take a shower, but I forgot to dry the towels, so they're still wet. My friends ask me how I'm doing, but they see right through me 'cause I don't really know. Always knew myself with you, now aimlessly walk about wondering where to go. 'Cause it was always you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I. Whoa, oh, you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I. The sun peeks through the shades, to the west it goes again, another day. Ooh, towels need to be dry, haven't changed my clothes, and no, I haven't cried. Oh, Stacy called me today, she said you gotta get out of that place. Oh, ooh, but if I leave this space, I'm afraid that I'll see your face in everyone that I know. 'Cause it was always you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I. Whoa, oh, you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I. Ooh, da 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 do 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 da 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 do do. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, I gotta get up, I gotta get up. Oh, and you gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. Ooh, still it was always you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I. Whoa, you and I, you and I, you and I, it was always you and I.
To tell us exactly how she became involved with music, Emily takes us all the way back to her roots and sings Who Are You? Emily, tell us what it was like growing up in Oregon.
Growing up in Oregon was a lot of fun. I have 5 brothers, and so there was always hiking and being outdoors and eating a lot of kale.
Very healthy lifestyle.
Oregonians love kale.
Okay.
And naming their chickens. Yeah, Oregon is a beautiful place, lots of fresh air, and it's kind of, the culture is really defined by, I think, the outdoors. And, you know, in the winter when it's rainy and cold and everyone's sad, the solution is putting on a raincoat and going to the beach.
Okay.
When it's 30 degrees out, or going hiking and
Listening to music.
listening to music.
So how did you fall in love with music?
Music. Well, my mom, growing up, just was always singing with us, and my older brother and I. And then when I was about 12, I went to a bluegrass concert, and it changed my life. And
Was there a certain song?
There were actually, so the story of how I even got to the bluegrass concert is a little crazy. So it was my 12-year-old birthday, and my dad took me to Target and was like, you can pick out whatever you want. Just let me know what you want. Don't want to guess what you want for your birthday. So I was obsessed with Jewel at the time and wanted her new record. And I think she had kind of a risque outfit on or something, and I knew my dad wouldn't like that. So I said, Dad, I want this Jewel album and not this one. But he ended up getting the random one off the shelf, and turns out it was a Nickel Creek album. I threw it aside for a few months and then listened to it randomly, and it changed my life. And then they came to town, to Portland, a few weeks later, and I went to their show, and the rest is history.
Was that your first concert?
That was, so I grew up going to a lot of big arena shows, just that I can't even really remember, because they were so big. But that was my first intimate show, and I was at the front of the stage with the upright bass right in front of me. I could feel the bass, and it was like this new experience that I didn't know could be had with music.
So what did you do with that connection when you got home that day?
Well, I decided I was going to save up and buy myself a mandolin. So saved up probably over 6 months and got a mandolin for $500. And started...
Self-taught?
Huh?
Self-taught?
At first, I was self-taught, and then I took 4 or 5 lessons, and just started going to bluegrass jams and was just so taken by the acoustic music experience of sitting with people in a room and hearing beautiful sounds come out of acoustic instruments. And yeah,
it's a whole new world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when did you play out by yourself for the first time?
So around the time I went to that Nickel Creek concert, I started also singing in church, which was a great environment to not be good because it was an opportunity to sing on stage and work through my abilities or lack of abilities, and people would still clap and encourage me, and it was a beautiful season.
It's a great way to start.
Yes.
With support.
For sure.
And you built your confidence in that arena.
Yeah. So built my confidence there, and then when I was about 19, thought to myself, what about all the people that will never be in a church? I want to sing with them too. So I started singing in coffee shops, and it moved to pubs, and then it moved to little tiny venues, and then here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah.
On national television.
On national television.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think your family feels about how your career has grown?
Well, my family's proud, for sure. I think being in the music industry is a foreign thing to most people. So it's taken a little bit for my family to kind of grasp what it is I'm doing and what it is I want to do. And I would say in the last year, they've all kind of settled into like, oh, she's actually doing this as a career. This isn't like a side thing. But they're all proud and cheer me on, and I miss them so much.
Did you feel when you first played that Nickel Creek record that you would ever be sitting here talking about your music?
No. I remember going to that Nickel Creek concert and feeling the music in my soul and knowing, like, I don't know if I could ever do that, but whatever this feeling is, I want to give it to people. So when I was listening to that record, it was like I had dreams of maybe being an artist one day, but in my mind it was like either you're not a musician or you're born Christina Aguilera. And I didn't quite grasp what the in-between could look like. So I think if that little girl could see me now, she'd be very excited.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Saw you with her, you looked happy, didn't quite know what to think, couldn't know how I feel. I just feel sad. You looked at me, you smiled right at me like, how are you doing? Well, darling, I'm not doing good. And I just feel sad. So tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who are you to come to this side of town? So tell me, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? You're trying to make me jealous now. Yeah. I'm not your deal, I'm not your problem, I ain't your concern anymore. You walked out the door, and it's just so sad. So tell me, who are you? Who are you? Who are you to come to this side of town? So tell me, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? You're trying to make me jealous now. Hey, la, do, 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 do. La, da, 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 da. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you to come to this side of town? So tell me, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? You're trying to make me jealous now. Hey, who are you? Who are you? Who are you to come to this side of town? Hey, hey, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? You're trying to make me jealous now.
Stay up to date with Marquee Backstage on social media for all the behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and exclusive content at Marquee Backstage. Next is Emily with her song Rio Grande. Here's a little bit about the song's meaning.
Emily, you've developed your own personal style from your influences.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard it?
I would describe my music as Americana, which is a vast genre and people group of musicians, but I think that captures it.
So if there was an award that you hope to win from your music one day, what would it be?
It would be Album of the Year.
Best
At the-
Americana album
Yes,
of the
Best
year?
Americana Album of the Year at the
Okay.
Grammys.
At the Grammys.
Yes,
I love it.
yes.
So what of your new music really speaks to you most right now?
Well, there's a song that I will have coming out in the fall, late fall, called Rio Grande. And it's a song that has sort of created, it tells the story of who I am as a musician and also what I want to do in the world and be for people in general.
So what you want to give back
Yeah.
to the people who
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah.
So what are some of the lyrics of that song that you can just speak to us?
Well, the first line is, take me down to the Rio Grande and we can talk about what makes a man. And that line came from just a picture I had in my head of someone, could be a lover or a friend, down by a river. And I just saw myself walking towards this person and wanting to know where they come from. And really, it's about seeing someone that you know or you think you know really well and then realizing that there's always deeper layers to who they are. And so there's always more to the story of who someone is. And, you know, moving to the South from Portland was a great experience. And I've met a lot of people that are very different than me and have different backgrounds, but getting on ground level with people and taking the time to ask them questions about who they are and where they come from is always worth it. And yeah,
it's a great experience to be able to connect with people on levels that you never anticipated, where you might have a commonality.
Right. And especially, you know, growing up in the Pacific Northwest, you know, with a lot of hipsters and lots of, you know, marches on whatever cause that there is that week. Lots of activism. I thought growing up, like, oh, I know what people are like in the South or on the East Coast or, you know, in a different country. I know what it's like because I'm so educated. And it's like moving here made me realize I know some facts about things, but talking to people in person is a whole different thing. And, you know, I think as people, if we can take that step towards someone in humility and wanting to understand them, can do a lot of good.
Well, you have to be open.
Right.
And vulnerable to others.
Right.
So that you can find that common bond.
Yeah, for sure.
So I look forward to hearing that in Rio Grande.
Yeah, thank you.
Take me down to the Rio Grande, and we can talk about what makes a man. Take me down to the place you call home, and we will never be alone. I wanna know what you're thinking. I wanna know what really gets you. I wanna know what you're drinking. Something wild or something smooth. I wanna know what you're dreaming. And if my absence makes you blue, just wanna go to Rio Grande with you. Take me up to the place you saw stars, how vast the sky and fast your car. Which one did you once wish upon? What dreams have come true and which are gone? I wanna know what you're thinking. I wanna know what really gets you. I wanna know what you're drinking. Something wild or something smooth. I wanna know what you're drinking. And if my absence makes you blue, just wanna go to Rio Grande with you. I wanna know what you're thinking. I wanna know what really gets you. I wanna know what you're drinking. Something wild or something smooth. I wanna know what you're dreaming. And if my absence makes you blue, just wanna go to Rio Grande
We'd like to thank Thunder Sound Studios for letting us film our show from their fully equipped analog and digital recording studio complex in Franklin, Kentucky. For more information about Thunder Sound, please visit thundersound.com. To watch Emily's televised episode and all of our episodes, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Marquee Backstage. If you like the outdoors, you have something in common with our guest. Here is Emily telling us all about her love for nature and singing her song, I Think It's You.
So when you are not performing, tell me what you enjoy the most. What really brings you joy?
When I'm not performing, I love being home. My home is a place of peace and haven of rest from the crazy music industry. And I have a dog who I love.
What's your dog's name?
Her name is Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, I love that. Nice
I call her
little
Rigby.
Beatles. Okay.
And usually Eleanor Rigby and I hang out in my backyard. I love to garden.
What do you grow in your garden?
Well, I have gardening in the South has been quite a journey for me.
The climate's a little different.
Climate's a little different than Portland, Oregon. So this last spring, I just said, I've been trying to grow vegetables, and usually I'll have kale and other things. But this has just been a summer of flowers. So I have a lot of, just a variety, wildflowers, things that I'll clip and weed and...
So lots of beauty.
Lots of beauty,
Lots of color.
Lots of color, beauty. Getting my hands in the dirt, even just weeding, it centers me and is magical. So.
What's your connection to your roots?
Yes, yeah.
So that way, even if you're not home, you can feel close
Yes.
to where you came from.
Yes. And I have, aside from my garden, I have a lot of potted things. So ferns and some little pine fir bushes and, cactuses. And
Did you bring anything from Oregon to keep you grounded here?
Well, funny you should say that, because every time I go back to Oregon, there's so many just succulents growing on things, and I will often just bring little plants home. So I have a lot of succulents throughout my house. Anytime I go on a hike in Oregon, I will get a rock, or last time I went home, I was on a hike and there were these beautiful rocks with mica in them, which are like shiny silver. So I brought some rocks home that I just have around my house.
Making your own landscape.
Yeah. And that really, on this weird, deep level, makes me feel centered. So.
That is your piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking us on that journey.
Of course.
One step at a time, and I know it's a lonely road. Dive bars and boulevards, but it's all that I've ever known. And I'm burning out on waiting for someday. But there's always something free about something new. And the price I pay for freedom wears on me too. And I've been looking for a reason to come back home. And I've been looking for a reason. And I think it's you. 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 Yeah. Who knows why we leave sometimes? You gotta get away. I feel the wind of an ocean breeze, and I think maybe I'm okay. But when I see the sunset on the horizon, I wonder if I fooled myself, chasing down an empty dream, all the while missing out on what's in front of me.
Thank you for joining us this week on Marquee Backstage All Access. Make sure to follow Emily Otteson on social media at Emily Otteson Music for all of her latest updates. Next week, you don't want to miss the Tom Pappas Collection as they bring the best in rock. Now performing one last song is Emily Otteson with Light of the Moon. Until next time, I'm your host, Julie Milam. I'll meet you here next week on Marquee Backstage All Access.
Travel by the light of the moon. Ripples in the waves say danger's coming soon. Next bend's a mystery. Might capsize, might win the prize. I'll just wait and see. All alone, so it seems that I believe. Union wants me on their road, but through open hands or clenched fists, the river takes its toll all alone. So it seems that I believe. So call upon the name of the Lord, share with him your burden. You don't know what he has in store, or where the river's turn. I believe, oh I believe. Smoke rises from the bank, a crash and burn, a lesson learned. I'll keep in mind next time I pass this way. To the good Lord I'll pray. So